Hey everyone, it's Raymond. Hey, I'm super excited to be here with you today. We're going to talk about an area that is critical for your development and really for you to grow your business. You know, it's interesting, over decades now, I've been asked at many different times as I've worked with companies and business owners, what's the secret? What is there's one thing that you can share with us if we can't go to your course, or if we can't work with you one-on-one? What is one thing that you can really teach us of how to create a lasting change, how to create a breakthrough, how to really grow, how to get what we want? And I appreciate the compliment and I love the interest, but obviously there's a lot of different aspects to growing a business and being successful. But if I had to distill it down into one area, one thing that would truly allow you to grow and expand, and you would find the tools and skills and everything that you would need to know, it would basically be this training. If you said, hey, I can't continue on the other weeks of the course, but what is the one thing? This is it. So I really want to talk today about transformation. See, I'm not interested in information. You can go out there and get all kinds of information everywhere. You can get all kinds of strategies, but I'm really interested. I've always been fascinated with the result. I want the end result. That's it. Anything else that does not get me there, I'm just not interested in. And that's true transformation. Creating a lasting change is really starting with a breakthrough. And it's, a lot of people ask, what is it? Creating a lasting change, what makes it? And today we're going to uncover the 5 elements of a breakthrough and making it a permanent change forever. But let's start with why people don't get what they want. And there's 3 reasons why people don't actually get what they want. The very first reason is fear. We are all driven by fear. Absolutely. It is part of our culture, it's part of our DNA. It is a survival mechanism, and it's excellent. I love fear. I've always said that fear is the red carpet to courage. And you have to learn how to dance with fear. You have to learn how to use its energy as a way to transform. But in reality, it can be very debilitating. It could be something that you could really keep you from doing anything that's good, anything that's great. Even if something bad is happening in your life, fear can keep you in that same spot. So fear, I want you to understand, is a energy. It is something that is meant to, it's a part of our nervous system. It's meant to be used. And as I said, I truly believe fear is the red carpet to courage. So it's important to be able to dance with it. The second reason why people don't get what they want is because of their needs. Every human being has 6 human needs, and we're going to go into that more in detail a little bit later. But there are 6 specific things, and every decision you make is driving you closer to fulfilling those needs, and they're powerful. We have all these specific needs to either feel loved or have certainty or feel significant, and it's important. I mean, everything is driven towards that. So first off, most people don't even understand that they have these needs, and second of all, they don't know which ones are the priority. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Everything today is going to be fairly short. I'm not going to go, we could spend hours on this. So we're going to touch more of it a little bit later in the course. But today is to really kind of give you the overview so you can really grasp what is it that creates a breakthrough, and then what creates lasting change. But back to the reasons why people don't get what they need is they're distracted. They're chasing after something that doesn't really get them to the result. The third reason why people don't get their wants is because their mindset. And mindset is something that's really been a widely used word that, sometimes people look at it as, it's your psychology all the way to how you're feeling, what's going on in your body. And all that's true. And we're going to really distill this down and define a little bit further so that you've got a better understanding of why do we do what we do and why is it so difficult to get what we want. So the 3 reasons why people don't get what they want is fear, needs, and their mindset. So let's jump into the 3 S's. The 3 S's is your state, your story, and your strategy. These are the 3 elements that really create a breakthrough. We're also going to really kind of break down a little bit further as we go deeper into this of how to create, once we create that breakthrough, how do we make it a permanent change? How do we do, what is it that we have to do to make it a part of our body, part of our mindset, and really part of what we do every single day? This strategy really creates the breakthrough. Your 3 S's creates the change. And then there's a few other elements that really make it long-term, kind of a permanent choice. But to really get started, we're gonna reverse these in order because this is how we think. I want to break this down as simple as possible. So we're going to start with the strategy. And the strategy, if you think about, this is what everybody wants. They're always looking for, how do I do something? And I want to be careful. I want you to understand that the tyranny of how can get you caught up into tough times. You can go round and around in circles if you're always looking at how to do something first. But honestly, that's how our brains work. And if we ask, how, then our brains will say, well, I don't know how. And when this creates uncertainty. And this is really important to understand because when you have uncertainty, you will not execute. This is uncertainty is the execution, or excuse me, is the enemy of execution. Uncertainty is a place that we use that, and we'll go into that a little bit further later. But I tell you what, when it comes to making a change and growing your business and diving into that new market, you want certainty. So by starting with how, your brain says, I don't know how, and that creates this uncertainty that you just absolutely will not execute anything. So let me give you an example. You can even go and find the greatest strategies in the world, and there are tremendous ones. Now let me explain this first. I'm a strategist. That is what I do. You can collapse years, decades in the matter of months. You can take something that would take someone else 10 years to do, and if you really understand how they did it, then you can model them and you can collapse that 10 years in a matter of months. So I truly believe in strategy, but it's not the first thing that you need to do. So it's very important that you understand that. Leaders start with what they want, and then they go into why, and that's the fuel. We'll go into that a little bit more, and then they get the how. So the what, the why, and the how, you can mirror that with your state, your story, and your strategy. So let me actually get into an example here. Think about going to the moon. When President Kennedy said we're going to the moon, it was 9 years before, 8 years or whatever it was. NASA said that they had they didn't know how to do it. They didn't have the resources. I mean, it was such a huge task. There's just no way. But they knew what it was that they wanted to do, and they knew why. It was a really, really big why. Think about the 4-minute mile. I mean, nobody broke the 4-minute mile forever. And then all of a sudden, one person does it. And then that same year, I think it was 34 people broke the 4-minute mile. They had a really big why. They knew what it was, but they had a really big why they wanted to actually do it. How about losing weight? How about people that are overweight and they want to lose the weight? They want to slim down. They want to change physically their body. Let me ask you, is this a strategy problem? Is there not enough strategies out there on how to lose weight? No, not at all. I mean, there are so many strategies, right? You can get programs for free on the internet. You can get people to help you out for free. You can get tools and different equipment and different things. You can do it without equipment. So it's not a matter of a strategy. What about price? I mean, if this program was $110,000 or if it was free, if you don't do it, it just won't work, right? It doesn't matter what the price is of something. You have to have a really big why you want something. You have to describe the what it is. You have to be laser focused on that, have super clarity on it. But truly understanding why you want something, that's the power behind the actual strategy. So, like I said, don't get me wrong, I am definitely a strategist. I am constantly looking at new ways of doing things, how to improve. But that is not the first place that you want to start. You want to start with your state, your story, and your strategy. So let's dive into the actual story. Let's talk a little bit more about that. The story is why they can't get the result. Why they don't have what they want. People always go back to the strategy and they'll blame the strategy, and it's actually the story behind the strategy that's keeping them from getting their result. The story sometimes will really prevent us from seeing the strategy, and if the right story is there, it won't let us believe anything else. So and it's truly because our expectations really color what we want. So let me give you an example. How many times have you bought a white car and when you got home you notice all the white cars everywhere? Or if you maybe if you here's a good one, go buy a boat and all of a sudden you notice all the people that are pulling a boat behind their vehicle, or you notice the kind of a boat. Or another example, look around your room, look around the place where you are right now, and look for the color red, and look around, just identify everything that's red. Then close your eyes and tell me how many things that you notice are blue. And open your eyes. Now open your eyes. Look around, and how many more things do you recognize are actually red? My point is the mind will discover exactly what it's looking for. So what we focus on is what you get. Your mind wants to confirm itself. Once you have a story, your brain is seeking to confirm it constantly. That's exactly what it's doing. And go back to the what I just told you to do. Close your eyes and look around the room for red. How many times did you find something that was maybe a maroon or maybe even an orange color, and you called it red because you wanted to be successful? Your brain is wired this way. This is exactly what it does. So the story behind what it is you're trying to achieve. So in other words, your story is your why. And I'll give you another example. I don't know how many of you guys might have kids. I've got 3 kids, and if you don't have kids, you can totally relate to this story. But let's pretend your kids don't know how to swim, and you find them on by a pool, and they've fallen into the pool. But around this pool is a 12-foot steel fence, and it has a gate, and it's locked, and there's no way for you to get in. And your kids can't swim, and they've fallen into this pool. You've got a really, really big why you must get in there to actually save them. And I tell you what, you'll find any way to get in, through, or over that fence to be able to save those kids, because your why is massive. In other words, your why has to be bigger than any problem that you'll ever encounter. You guys, Your story controls your life. Change your story and you'll change your life. In other words, divorce the story of your limitations and marry the true story of your unlimited life. I could give you the best strategy on the planet, but with the wrong story, you won't apply it. You'll blame the strategy as wrong. You can create the most empowering story and not have the strategy, and you will still find the best strategy. Or you'll go out and create one. So the story is the glue behind everything. One that is, and you want a story that's empowering, one that actually drives you each and every day. Like I said earlier, your why, which is your story, has to be bigger than any problem that you'll ever encounter. So let's jump into your state. So I'm now back up to the very top. The very first item, or the way it should be, is state, story, and strategy. So I want to talk about your triad, because your triad truly is your emotional state. Do this for me. Remember a time when you were upset, or think of it like totally mad, totally pissed off at someone, really upset. You remember everything that you were upset at, right? I mean, when you were upset at this person, you could remember every single time that you were upset at them, or you just remembered everything else that you were upset about. When you were upset at a situation or a person, you were mad at the meaning that you were putting to it. They have violated some rule or something that you have, and it totally upsets you. So I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to ask 3 questions. When you have an upset customer, or you're upset at someone, I want you to ask these 3 questions. Number 1, is it true? With what they're saying or what you're feeling or saying in your head, is it true? Could this be a misrepresentation or misinterpretation? Do you have all possible information necessary to know exactly what this means? And number 2, what do you feel? What do you experience and become like when you believe this thought? And number 3, if this thought didn't exist, if it didn't happen this way, how would you feel? How would you act and experience life or this relationship or this situation? What would you be like? So think about the next time that you're upset or something happens. How about if I reverse this? How about being in love? What would you do, if you're totally in love with someone? And think back at a time, maybe when you first met your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever your relationship is. Think back to a time when you were like totally in love. It's new, it's fresh, you're excited. What would you do during that time? I bet you would do anything, right? Hardly anything bugged you at all. You were excited, you were on fire, you had energy. I mean, so much was going on. So your mental and your emotional state controls your story, and your story controls whether you find and implement and execute. So your triad is powerful, you guys. So think of it this way. It's a triangle. At the very bottom of the triangle is your body. In other words, your physiology, how you're using your body, how you're breathing, how you're, are you eating, are you sleeping, however you're using your body matters. The second side of the triad or your triangle is your focus. What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? Your focus equals your feeling. That is critical, because my gosh, you could be sitting there thinking, my life sucks, and you feel really, really bad. The third side of the triangle are the words that you use. Your words equals your meaning or your experience. So the words reinforce your focus and really just helps to shape everything that you're doing. So let me give you an example. If you're sitting on the couch and it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you're still in your pajamas and you're on your third bag of potato chips and you're sitting there saying that my life sucks, that I feel horrible, and I just hate where I am. So you're using really disempowering words that really drives your focus, and your body is just sitting there. You're on your 16th hour of binging Netflix or something. That's a really rough triad. And your triad, let me back up for a second. Your triad, think of it this way. Every second, every moment that you're awake, consciously awake, you're in a triad. Somehow, every when you go to sleep, obviously that changes. But when you're awake, how you use your body, what you're focusing on, and the words that you use completely determine your state. So if you're saying your life sucks and you're sitting on the couch, if you get up and go outside and go for a jog or jump on the trampoline or jump on your dirt bike or something, and you're using your body in a different way, now you've got something that's creating energy and blood flow. Your focus is different. Now you're focusing. Now you can really focus on making a change, doing something different. You feel empowered. And third, your words. Your words equals your meaning, and your meaning equals your experience. And I'll give you a powerful example of this. I don't know how many of you enjoy roller coasters, but some of you might totally love roller coasters and you're just super excited as soon as I say the name, but I'm petrified of them. I'm so scared of them. It would be absolutely nuts for me to go on one. But let's pretend you and I go on a roller coaster, and we step up to the roller coaster, and it's one of those ones that the coaster's over your head, or it's hanging from a track above you. And you sit down, and we're in the very first row, and we sit down, and the bars come over your head, and the floor drops out, and you take off, right? Your feet are dangling on this roller coaster. And as soon as we sit down, you're like super excited. You're like screaming, woohoo! I'm ready to go, and I'm just sitting there hanging on to these white knuckles. Totally different physiology, isn't it? So we start to go up the track, and it's clicking, click, 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 and we start to go over that next side, and your hands and arms are up in the air, and you're just loving every minute. You're in ecstasy, and I'm so petrified. I'm about to scream because I'm so scared. We get back to the end, and we get off of the track, and I can't even let go. I'm so scared. What's actually happening in our bodies is completely different. The words I use words like petrified and scared to death. Those are things that are actually tearing my body down. They're breaking down my immune system. You're so excited, you're laughing, you're high-fiving everyone. Things biochemically that are happening in your body are amazing. You're improving, you're growing your immune system. You're getting stronger. But yet we went on the exact same experience, the exact same event, the same roller coaster at exactly the same time. But we have completely different meanings of that event. Our meaning, the meaning you put behind the event is the event. That's our experience. So it's critical for you to realize this. And again, this is very broad right now. We're going to go into this deeper later. But conditioning your triad, which is conditioning your mindset every single day, is critical, and you have power over it. If you're sitting in the chair for too long, get up and move. Do something to change your focus, and use empowering words to reinforce that focus. So let's go on from here. I just want to reiterate so the proper order of what we've been talking about is your state, your story, and your strategy. And changing your state, which is your triad, is how you get an empowering state. Once you have that, now you sit down and write, what is my story? Why is it that it's so important that I develop what I'm doing here? Why do I need to get up and get into this new market, or whatever it is? That's your story, but you can't do it without actually having a powerful state. So let's jump into the 6 human needs. I was going to share this, I mentioned this earlier, your actual needs. And why this is so important is because we are constantly, excuse me for a second, We are constantly looking at our supply, or meeting these 6 human needs. This is it. Every single human on the planet has these 6 human needs. The very first one is certainty. We have to know that when we get into our car to drive across town or to drive down the freeway, that we're not going to get killed. If we thought that, there's no way we would do it. Or if we're on the second floor of our house, that's where we sleep, and we're totally petrified that the floor is going to cave in, that it's not going to hold us up, we would never go up there. So certainty, our brain is constantly looking for certainty. Uncertainty, just the paradox, just the opposite here. It's the paradox. We're looking for uncertainty. We're looking for variety in our life. I mean, certainty, let me back up. Uncertainty is why we go to a new movie. They spend $300 million in a movie. We spend $14 to go see it, and we love it because it's uncertain. It's variety. It's new. It's exciting. But the reason why we go back to that movie 14 more times is because we want certainty of how we felt. We felt great. We were excited, whatever it is. So we're looking for uncertainty and variety in our life. Number 3, we're looking for significance. There's a reason why some people buy that Beamer, or they buy that Mercedes, or that truck that's jacked up and all bulletproof, and we buy a truck for $70,000. We dump another $20,000 into it because it looks amazing, and it's not a need, but there's a need for significance. There's a need to stand out, to be different. The 4th one is love and connection. We can get love everywhere, right? We can get love from our dog. We can get love from, our family and people, and connecting with all kinds of ways on the internet and groups and all these different things. We have that hardwired inside of us. We also have hardwired inside of us to grow. If we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not growing, we're going backwards. The human nature is connected to nature. So, and think about it, in nature, if you're not growing, you're dying. You're moving backwards. So we have a hardwired need to grow and expand. The 6th one is contribution. Believe it or not, it's hardwired inside of us to give more of ourselves. We feel amazing. It's an inspiration to be able to contribute to other people's lives. And I mean, that's why we have kids. That's part of the reason why we have kids, is to be able to really contribute, to see this person grow and expand and so on. Again, you guys, we're going to go deeper into this stuff. I know you're probably taking notes, but ask any questions when we get together on our Q&As. But we're going to touch more on this much later. The last one is your identity. And your identity, the greatest power in the human psychology is to stay consistent with our identity. When you say, I'm a stupid person, I'll give you an example. My mom has really struggled for years with this part of herself, her identity. And she never got educated. She never, she barely finished high school. And she just developed this identity so many decades ago that she was dumb. She did stupid things. And to this day, she still struggles with this. But when your identity is that you're not a smart person, then you are constantly looking for reasons to validate that. And she does that. I see it all the time, you guys, constantly. And if you really think about this, think about your identity, think about other people in your life, you will see patterns. You will see how things that they do to confirm this. So I'm telling you, again, we're not going to dive deep because I could spend 3 hours just on this part alone. But you've got to upgrade your identity. You've got to expand that and allow yourself to become, the person that you are. If you're, doing $800,000 a year, then maybe your new identity is the $5 million CEO. Whatever it may be, you need to create that identity. And we'll talk about that more. But the last piece here that I really want to show you is what we call the 5 to thrive, and it is creating, it's to create that breakthrough and to make it last. This is it right here. These 5. Create a compelling future. This is your why. This is why. First off, what is it you want, and why is it so dang important to have that? That's how you create a compelling future. Your identity shapes your choices. Who you are, who you identify with, your I ams. I am the best father on the planet. I am an outstanding, spouse. You will create choices to validate that and reinforce that all day long. And then in the middle, you have your triad, your empowering focus, your words, and your how you use your body, your vitality. That is your triad. And what you want to do the most is to constantly improve that. And again, you guys, we're going to be going into that further and further in the next few weeks, but I just want to give you this overview. Take good notes and actually bring some great questions to the Q&A, or shoot us an email. Shoot us an email to the help desk, and we'll dive into this a little bit deeper. But like I said, you guys, I could spend days on diving deeper into this, and it's important to get an overview so that we can go deeper a little bit later. So you guys, it's been awesome to be here with you guys today, and we are here to build freedom for ourselves, freedom for our families, and of course wealth will follow as we serve more and more people. So thank you so much, and you guys, I'll catch you on the other side.